Shut up and sit down.
Okay, cool. Welcome, guys, to the very first episode of another one of these, the podcast. My name is Kashish Grover. I am your host, and your guest is a stuffed elephant, voiced by an anonymous friend who does not wish to reveal herself. Say hi, elephant.
Hi, I am hiding behind an elephant and I have to apologize in advance because I know how cruel it is to have a first guest as an inanimate object, but I promise to keep it interesting.
You heard it here, folks. She promised to keep it interesting. Now, if for some reason she doesn't live up to the expectations, blame her, not me.
That is a lot of pressure to put on a stuffed elephant.
It looks like he can take it. I can. It's in the eyes. It's the eyes, chica. They never lie.
Are you sure you're looking at the eyes? Those are tusks.
No, the black ones. I'm not talking about the white. For those of who are listening on Spotify or any other non-video software, we also have a video version available on YouTube. If you do want to see how I look like after 2 months of not getting a haircut because of the lockdown, hop on over there. It sucks. It's all over the place, and I desperately need a haircut. Which brings me to another point. Lockdown. Did you hear the latest update yesterday?
I am starting to. I have not bothered looking into the alerts after a while. I think Aucklanders are still in on that alert train. But as for me personally, having lived through level 2 for quite a while, I haven't been up to date with the news. But when I did see the announcement that there was this next what was that, level 2 step something, I was like, what is happening? What is it? So it's starting to sound like a dance move.
It is. It's weird, but so basically we went from, it started with level 3, where takeaways were open, the usual that we had last year, except now we can meet in public. This is the one earlier, not right now. Except now we can meet in public, and it cannot be a gathering of more than 10. And takeaways are going as operational, and they open schools because education is important.
Because yeah. Oh, sorry, what are we talking about? Which level are you in?
This is 3.8. I want to say 3.8. No, 3.2. Just say the next level after level 3. I don't know the number of decimals on this thing. So that we had that for about 3 weeks, and yesterday she announced we're gonna go down a level. It is still level 3, but now instead of 10 people, we can have a gathering of 25 people in public.
Okay.
And public places are opening, such as malls and stuff. No hospitalities, businesses. So the hotel I work at is still closed. I am at the hotel currently, by the way. So the hotel I work at is still closed. But malls, Sylvia Mall, remember Sylvia Mall?
Oh yeah, I remember it fondly.
Fondly is the word. So yeah, malls are opening. you can gather in public in a group of 25 or less. And I think that's about it. And Hamilton's going back in level 2.
You heard it here, folks. If you don't bother reading at the official announcement, you heard it here at one of these podcasts, what the levels are. Also, I'd like to say, it's starting to sound like the levels. So you're not officially in level 2.
No, not by a long shot.
So you're like official, like in the middle.
Yeah, you could say that. Leaning towards a bit more level 2 now than we were in the past 3 weeks, but yeah, somewhere in the middle still.
See, this is what I want to say. I'm going to live up to the, I'm going to save that for later. The levels in Auckland and the levels in New Zealand are starting to remind me of all the relationships that I've had. And it's like, it's a bummer that even the levels are as vague as some of the relationships that I've had. It's like, are we in level 2? Are we in level 3? No, we are somewhere in between, and it's a lot of clauses and a lot of, no, don't do that, but also you can do this. Isn't it weird?
Yeah, it is. And then the things you can do, you really don't want to, but the things you really want to, you can't.
And also, you're limited to certain things. So it's very vague, you know, and it's giving, and I think a lot of people are probably gonna have a lot of flashbacks. Are we officially level 2, or what are we doing? Where are we? We're in a limbo. Can we please make things clearer? Yeah, so not only do you have, if you're in that type of relationship right now, not only are you in a relationship like that, but you know, your schedule of living is going to be like that as well. Can you go to the barbers? Are you going to be the 26th person at the club? You know,
see, that's the thing. Clubs are not opening.
So what are the
very vague definition of public places? Now, when that's the thing, when you say public places, they're going to say Kmart's going to open and Sylvia Park's going to open. But then again, only 25 people will be allowed inside. Now my question is, will these 25 people be including the staff that's already inside? Because if we count the staff that's already inside, that's well over 100 people.
Well, if I was going to be the staff and they literally said 25 people in a building, like 25 living beings in a certain place, I would want to be the 26th staff. Like, you know, I don't want to work.
Fair enough. Also on that topic, some people have compared the lockdown in Auckland. Now these are local people, not anyone else in the world other than the people of Auckland, have compared the lockdowns to the Nazi concentration camps.
What?
Yep, thoughts?
Sorry, what?
Yeah, did you not hear that, or are you still processing that?
Can it be both?
Yeah, okay.
That's gonna be my answer for everything that I'm confused.
Fair enough. So the local people here, especially the ones, did you hear about the North Shore Party?
North Shore Party.
So a group of self-proclaimed social media influencers.
Woke people?
Sure, yeah, let's go with that. Woke people. But we're calling them self-proclaimed influencers because apparently if you cross like 1,000 followers on Instagram, you are an influencer.
But isn't that self-proclaimed in itself?
That's
like being an influencer is self-proclaimed.
Yeah, so self-proclaimed in New Zealand because of the population. So it's the population to the followers kind of ratio. So because we have so less population, it just takes 1,000 followers to become a self-proclaimed. self-proclaimed influencer. Anyway, so all of
Okay.
self-proclaimed influencers had a little party in the North Shore, and there were the next day there were the highest cases recorded after the lockdown. There were over 200 cases in one day, and ever since then, ever since that particular party, it's just been going up and up. So all of these self-proclaimed influencers have gone on their Instagram and stuff like that and issued a public apology. And because they've all been fined, and some of them haven't even issued a public apology, they've just gone online and called the lockdown system and compared it to a Nazi concentration camp.
Oof.
Yep.
Oof.
Yeah, big oof. Thoughts?
Auckland is becoming cray. That's all that I can say.
I mean, there's crazy, but then you're literally comparing a lockdown that is in place to prevent you from getting sick to the fucking Holocaust. How do you get them from that?
People like to prove a point. You know, it's natural for people to want to prove a point, but there's a really fine line between trying to prove a point and trying to, like, just crossing all the lines that should not be crossed. You know?
Yeah, sure. There's exaggeration, and then there's that.
Yeah.
How do you even make that assumption? Like, a lot of people were captured, enslaved, killed, labeled, and you're comparing that to a lockdown where you just have to stay in your house and get paid for it, by the way.
See that is the whole it's sort of like a parent grounding their child because they almost crashed the car one night being drunk, and it's for their safety. They're a hot mess, so parents ground them, right, for maybe a week, and the kids are like, you're killing me, you're ruining my life, I'm gonna have mental disorders when I grow older. It's like it's from that type of, you know, mentality, and now they're big and they're, you know, they have work, and it's still the same mentality. You're trying to put people in one place because we're trying to control something here, and people just, you know, go ape shit and stuff, you know, comparing themselves into a Holocaust. That's sort of the same pattern, you see.
Yeah.
And
these are the these are the same kind of people who would go to a pub and go talk to a girl and explain them all the issues they have because their parents didn't treat them well, and they do all of this just for a pity fuck. That's how I would summarize it.
See, I don't really understand. No, with this whole pandemic thing, it's kind of ironic. Is what I don't understand is people complain a lot. They can't go out, they can't enjoy things, they are very they feel like prisoners and stuff. And you know what? It does feel being in prison because you're stuck in one place. But the thing is, the reason why you're being stuck in one place is because people with the same mentality as yours can't keep themselves in one place, and things are spreading. And it's like, you're not really helping your own case here. You're only digging your own grave. Not to be very dark, but I can't really find another expression for that.
Yeah. No, I understand. So yeah, but I also think the government's not fully in the right. Somewhere at some things they have made certain mistakes.
Well, of course.
If you look at the border situation right now, you know that if you do leave the country, and it doesn't matter if you're on a visa or if you're a citizen or if you were born here and you've been living here since the last 50 years.
Yeah, what's up with that? I saw an announcement that the borders are It's very vague. Is it open? Is
No.
it, what is it?
So
I saw an announcement and it's like, what do you mean by this? Can you make it official? I don't understand.
okay, the reason it's pretty vague is because they've been doing this in steps, and the minute they do it, they see a rise in cases, and then they think, nope, we're going back to strict rules. So last week, no, the week before that, the week before the last week, they opened the South Island borders to Australia because there hasn't been a case in South Island for.
And now there's a case in Christchurch.
Exactly. So as soon as they opened the borders to Australia, because people from Australia were stuck here and people from New Zealand were stuck in Australia, and they opened a quarantine-free bubble border. And then as soon as they did, they had their first case in Christchurch, and then followed by, I think there was one in Queenstown as well. But that's not even the most bizarre part. The bizarre part is the North Island people. If there's someone living in the North Island and they're currently outside the country for some reason, there's a 25,000 to 30,000 number of waiting in the managed isolation hotels, So the theory with that is, if you want to leave the country on a return ticket, say, if I book a ticket to India and I want to get a return ticket, before I book a return ticket, I need to first book my spot in the managed isolation facility. And there's a wait there for 25,000 to 30,000 number of people that are currently in line to get their spot. So obviously it's going to take.
Oh, wow.
Because they're limited hotels. It's not like they've used all the hotels for managed isolation. And they're not making it easier for people who are vaccinated as well. Although because they pay a lot of enthusiasm on get vaccinated. But what about the people who are vaccinated and want to come home? Why are you not exempting them from managed isolation and letting them isolate at their home? Because that is what should be done ideally.
Right.
Because they are vaccinated. And as per our Prime Minister, she said, once you are vaccinated, you can go about your day and we'll open Auckland and blah, blah, blah. And once we've got to the 90% mark. Now, those two are very different statements. Now, if we are vaccinated, if the people that are outside are vaccinated, why are we not letting them in the border without managed isolation?
See, I think there are many factors now to consider, and it's not easy making statements anymore because there are many things you have to consider. You have to consider, like you said, it's easy to say, let's go out, the borders, let's say the borders are open and you can finally go. It's easy to state, like if you're someone in authority, like say you're a prime minister, it's easy to say, oh, the borders are open now, you can finally see your families and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But the process of actually doing it is not as easy because, again, you said you have to book your managed isolation. And in some countries, like in my country, in the Philippines, you only have it's not a matter of booking a hotel. I don't know how they do it. I should be more aware. But anyway, the thing that keeps the ticket prices high and the thing that makes people have second thoughts going home is because there's only a certain quota of people that can enter the country, and I think that's only like maybe 2,100 per day. I may be wrong, but see, that's the thing. There are so many approaches you can go about, but it doesn't change the fact that it's a very complicated thing to do. And you have to you have to be very clear in your objective. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to minimize the number of cases? Because that's a far-fetched thing to do these days. It's not going to happen anymore. Are you trying to just, you only have one objective to get and you can't check all the boxes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I heard someone say that in Amsterdam, what they did say, it was really bad the first time they got they got through the pandemic. There's like tens of thousands of people who got sick and maybe even died. Again, I need to check my
Amsterdam?
facts, but sorry,
Amsterdam, really, with the amount of weed they smoke?
Netherlands.
Okay.
They started the pandemic really bad. I mean, Europe did, but I think they now they're doing quite better. Not gonna say perfectly, but they're doing quite better because they approached, I think, one of the targets that they really wanted to establish was rapid testing, and that helped them a lot. So you can choose a strategy and stick by it and hope that that works. And you just have, you like I said, you can't tick all the boxes. It's either you get traced, you do good tracing. It's either your objective is to minimize the number of cases,
Yeah.
or to open the border with good, it's a very complicated thing these days. And the one thing that makes it very complicated is peer pressure. Every other country in the world is starting to open up because it needs to. Christmas is coming. People are,
Traveling.
impatient.
Yeah.
And the peer pressure is up. It's up there.
But it's not just from other countries, it's from the opposition parties as well. Like,
There's a lot of pressure from different places. Yeah.
I saw this video on TikTok, all the places about
Yeah.
parliament hearing, where this guy was constantly bashing her with very good points, might I add, with the same points we discussed. And she just stood up and said, "I deny the premise of this question." So, when you say "I deny the premise of this question," what you're saying, translated to layman's language, is you've made a very good point. I don't have an answer to that yet. You've got me, but this is how I'm going to get out of it. Suck it.
No, maybe it's not. It's better than it. I sure would take that answer rather than make up some bullshit crap and go along with it, and then whatever you said in that statement bites you in the ass
Yeah.
a few weeks later, a few days, a few hours even.
No,
It's better to just concede.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that there was an alternative answer to this question, but the fact that she provided this answer just goes on to, like, I just want to go on and think that maybe he is onto something, and maybe he is the opposition guy. Maybe he is talking some sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. It's tough. It's tough. Really, and I really have no comment to it because it's just so hard to. It's hard to be a listener, to have to constantly be in this updates, like on updates and what's going to happen, and it's exhausting. Personally, for me, I'm very exhausted. I'm just waiting for whatever I wish to happen. But until then, it's just so hard to keep track of everything because there's too much details going on. And can you imagine actually being in the middle of all that? Can you imagine being a politician or like someone trying to fix things? It's so stressful.
It is. She's losing money as well on top of it, a lot of money, with wage subsidies.
Yeah, resurgence payments are still up. I was surprised. I thought that it was gonna end like October, but when I looked through the websites, because I have to do filings and stuff, I was like, wow, another batch of payments. You sure you still have that in you?
That's the thing. She doesn't. She really doesn't. You know how she is, because let's face it, top 3 revenue streams for New Zealand is tourism, meat, and milk, pretty much. And this is the first, tourism is not happening, obviously. And meat and milk are in terms of export. And that's not happening as well because of the borders being closed, not as much as they would like for it to be happening. So, you know how they've come up with the new resident visa?
Yeah, of course.
Have you seen the fees for that thing? Do you know how much the fees is?
I have an idea. Yes.
It's $2,000.
Yeah.
That's the highest fees for any sort of visa that has ever been required in the history of New
I
Zealand.
don't think so. No.
Is there much more? Which one is
Do
it?
you remember how much you paid for your post grad? It was around 4,000.
No, it was 300, 400. 4,000.
Oh yeah, the
4,000
fee.
was the
Oh
amount
yeah, not
that you had
not
to
the ones in
show
your
in your
bank.
account.
But I heard that the skilled migrant visa was around 4,000.
450. I just got my skilled migrant visa, the essential skill, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I've looked it up. So the 4,000 that you're talking about is the amount that you had to show that is in your bank account.
Yeah, the
applying
bank.
visa,
Yeah.
not the fees of the thing. So $2,000 is the highest amount for any visa ever recorded. Usually resident visas cost somewhere in the 500, 600 range, not $2,000. So what she's doing with this is, according to the estimate, there's going to be approximately 150,000 people applying for this said resident visa. All of them are going to be paying $2,000, except for the ones that have already applied for their residencies and have been waiting for it. They're still going to pay something, and that's the catch. They're still going to pay something. It's just not going to be as much as this one. So this is basically a cry for help, if you look at it this way.
I think it's they want their cake and they want to eat it too, kind of thing. Is because they're trying to they have found their sweet saving grace, and that is the immigrants. Because see, they need money, they're desperate, they need money, and they need manpower. And of that 150,000 people, that's what's left here. There have been immigrants that have been sent home already as well. So they were like, hold on a minute, before we send any of them back home. They're basically the ones we don't pay. Like, we don't give them any support. And they're like they work and they want to be here. So why don't we try to make a win-win situation for us? Like, win-win for us, a win for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One win for them, win-win for us.
Win-win for them. I think it's a triple win for them in a way. If you look at
win, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like hitting 3 birds with 1 stone. It's usually the phrase is 2, but this time they're hitting 3 birds with 1 stone. The first 10, they're gonna get a lot of their monetary problems sorted, because that's a lot of money. I just calculated that's a lot of money just from the visa applications. This is not even the lawyers that are gonna pay taxes once we pay them the big bucks. So yeah, the money from the applications, a monetary thing, and they're gonna retain labor here in New Zealand, a lot of hardworking labor, which pay humongous amount of taxes. Because if you look at it, immigrants are all the only people that even work, or majority of the immigrants are the ones that make a portion of people that work multiple jobs. Hence they pay more taxes. Again, another monetary thing. And because of lockdown, they've had a backlog of residencies going back 2 years now.
Okay, so I just want to say there's a friend of mine here that she's lodged her she's on a, I think she's in a work to residency visa.
Mm-hmm.
And she is in the process of she sent her requirements for a residency visa. But the thing is, it was never, you know, the whole backlog thing that they were not accepting things and they halted it because of the pandemic or whatever reason they halted things, you know, they weren't accepting new applications. So she passed her requirements and it was just floating there, and she's already paid her processing fees for immigration. And the thing is, once this whole new one-off residency came out, she was like, so what happened to the requirements I passed? Like, it's either I am closer to the finish line or I have to redo the whole thing again because this is a different application, right?
Yeah.
And on the recent updates, she found out she has to redo everything again. Like, doesn't matter if the database shows that she has a pending application just waiting to get accepted. No, she's gonna pay a little bit less. Still, it's gonna cost her maybe around 1,600. Still, that's a lot. That's a little bit lesser than the fee you have to pay. Like, you know, it's not even like, you know, like 500, that's it. No, it's just a little less than what you have to pay if you were gonna be, you know, a first time applicant for the one-off. But basically she paid double almost. And what she's telling me is like, you know what, they just don't want to bother. They're like, you know, you have a pending application? Nah, we're just gonna pretend it didn't happen and you're just gonna have to fall in line with everyone else. And those are the situations that weren't accounted for. They kind of just were swept under the rug, and you know what, everything else, we're too lazy to think of all your different situations. Everyone else just falls in line in one one box. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's either that or they can just go home, to be very blunt.
Well, who's gonna want that when they've spent so much already? Who's gonna want to go home?
Exactly. So it's basically they're not giving them much options at this moment. They're like, we acknowledge the fact that.
Then again, as an immigrant, you never had much options to begin with.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to.
Which is ironic.
They're just trying
the number of taxes that we pay in the country. Like, if it wasn't,
you know,
I'm going to say something very blunt. If it wasn't for the immigrants paying taxes in this country, and I'm not talking about the immigrants that are on visas, I'm talking about the immigrants that have been here for a while and have their residency and everything. They still count as immigrants, even though they've applied for their residencies.
They're not a resident yet, so they're an immigrant.
No, like they came from outside of New Zealand. So immigrants, basically. Because once an immigrant, always an immigrant. If it wasn't for the immigrants and the amount of taxes that we pay, the economy of this country would suffer really badly. Really, really badly.
You heard it.
Especially the hospitality industry. And these are the facts. I've looked it up.
It is. I mean, the reason why they accepted immigrants in the first place is the very reason, right? They need us. They wouldn't be accepting immigrants in the first place if there wasn't any,
And then they make us work for it, even though it's benefiting them.
Well, you know what they say. They did say this is New Zealand is really good with the milk industry, and that literally meant milking immigrants for their money.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah. That was
well, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of ironic, you know, when you really think about the gritty stuff.
Yeah.
Is, you know, immigrants have to deal with a lot of shit, but basically we can't, you know, who has more loans? Like we have to pay for everything we need to pay for. We can borrow money, yeah, sure, but not like the locals. Like, so, who really is working? Things aren't handed to us as easily as the locals. And we get it. We're not trying to hate. I came from a country that does not spoil us. And that's why I'm outside the country where I belong.
Mhm.
But if I was a local, like, life would be really good.
Yeah, no shit.
But
For a
the
course
hard truth
that-
is,
yeah, for a course that costs $4,000 to the locals, we pay $20,000.
yeah, no shit, Sherlock. We have to pay for that. We have to. I think there have been ways that you can pay for it in installments, but most of us have to pay it outright.
It doesn't matter if you can pay it in installments or not. 20,000 and 4,000 is a big difference. Even if you pay it in installments, even if you're paying it over time, you're still paying $20,000.
Yeah, and that's kind of like well, personally, I don't really look at that, so
Mhm.
so I don't carry that resentment. But when you get treated like shit and
That
you remember
grows.
those things, you're kind of like, excuse me, I did not come here to get treated like I am a second class person. I had to pay for my place here. And it came with a price, and
More
a
than-
hefty price
And
that it
more than
had.
you did, by the way, if you're talking to a local, like probably 3 times more than you did, even more.
Sorry, what?
Like if you're having this conversation with a local and explaining that I paid to be here, and probably 3 to 4 times more than you did, so I'd lower your fucking voice if you were talking to.
I mean, yeah, but this whole thing is just for locals who don't get it. There are a lot of nice locals out there, and
No, they are true.
they have, in my life, yes, they're in my life here so far. They have been really good to me, but there are some out there who just don't get the whole picture. We didn't come here to like
Yeah.
beg and beg and beg. Who's begging? Actually, we never get any.
If I
We
wanted
don't
to
get.
beg, I would have done it in my own country. I'd be at least good at it.
Damn. You should put like that sound effects for that, like wow 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 wow.
Pew, pew, pew.
Shots fired.
Yeah, I'll get a soundboard eventually.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. Right now, I'm not even doing this podcast from the place that I'd usually be doing, because I'm doing it in the hotel room that I work at. And once it opens, which I think I spoke to the directors this morning, we had a meeting, and we think it's going to open. You know how we've just gone down a level in level 3, another level down, and then
Yeah.
we can open the hotel.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if the sales and revenue will match the thing, because Auckland will still be isolated to the rest of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with that being said, I think I did say that along the lines of promotions, we should run a local bed and breakfast rate for all Aucklanders, because let's face it, they've been sick and tired of just staying at their homes, and they would love nothing more than a scenery change with a 5-star hotel with a bathtub in the middle of the lobby with a pool and stuff like that. And they'd pay good money to just get out of their houses at this point. Not all of them, because yeah. So that's something to look forward to.
That's nice. Yeah. There's a lot of luxury here for even, the thing is, it's easy to judge things when you only have one perspective
Mhm.
to it.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like really serious, but the thing is, here in New Zealand, everywhere looks damn nice. Like you could just go out, have a walk towards the park, and it will be nice. It's not as bad as back home. And when you really think about it, those people in I don't know, Auckland, that are saying it's like the Holocaust, the
Mhm.
way they've been treated by the government with all the
Not be-
lockdowns and all.
not be
Can you
called-
imagine? Can you imagine those people to try to live a day in the life of the situation back in our countries?
Yeah.
I don't know if they can survive that, because those people back home literally cannot even get out of the house. They can't, they have to have a card. They have to have freaking not only a face mask, a face shield,
Yeah.
and they have to have a pass.
Mhm.
And when they need to, it's not a bubble. A bubble is so cute. And it's actually really, it's not that, it's actually a nice concept. But back home, it's like you can be in one bubble and you can sleep beside each other. But if you
Mhm.
have to drive outside, whoever you're with in the car needs to sit at the back. You can't sit next to each other. I don't understand the logic of that,
Is
because
this,
you're both at home anyway.
yeah. Is this
But
the
if
Philippines?
you go out and drive, yeah, sorry.
Is this in the Philippines?
Yeah, you cannot drive outside and be next to each other. Your passenger, even if that's someone from your house, and yeah, it needs to be someone from your household, they sit at the back.
Fuck.
See those things, like over here, they think there are many unnecessary things during the lockdown. Well, think about the other things in other countries. and we don't even call it level 4, level 2, 3. That's easy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Philippine government was like, nah, I don't think 1, 2, 3, 4. It's way too easy. We're gonna call it
Lockdown.
general community. No, GCQ, ECQ, MCQ. And even I, as a Filipino, even the locals there don't even understand the difference between there. What is the worst one and what is the least worst one? Is it enhanced community quarantine or managed community quarantine? Which one is the worst one? I don't know.
See,
Anyways, over.
at least New Zealand has made it easier for us to know. It's just 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's pretty much
I
it.
know, right? Because it's
Are you
all
gonna
about
complicate it with
people and
MCQ, GCQ, MCQ?
I know. It was like, that's way too easy. People are gonna understand that too easy. Let's make it complicated. We
Yeah.
sophisticated over here.
Mhm.
We want fancy words. Who even, like, some people would probably not even know what a quarantine means.
I
You
think
know?
I think this is what was going on in their heads when they were sitting in the. Do you have a parliament?
No, we have a democracy.
Yeah, every democracy. Yeah, that's the whole point of a democracy. That every democracy has a parliament.
No. I was trying to say democracy slowly because
Oh,
democracy is for the people, of the people, by the people.
but the people are retarded.
Hey, that's offensive.
I love that video.
You should insert like a clip of that and just emphasize the face of the person saying people are retarded.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna try to edit that video, and this is the video now.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Yeah. think I'm gonna manage to put that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that they know that I'm not the one who said it, and so they don't go out and cancel me. It's someone else who said it.
No, you're like, hold on, let me search that real quick.
Mhm.
Wait, hold on.
Take your time.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Mhm.
Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott. That's you.
Holy shit.
Would you see, I'm thinking
Mhm.
if I quote a racist person's quote, am I gonna get canceled for it?
It
He
depends.
said it, not me.
It depends.
It's like that's to the power of 2. Like that wasn't me though. I just quoted his quote.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah, nah,
yeah.
I'm not important enough to be cancelled anyway. I think people have got better things to do than to cancel brown immigrant.
Can you?
At least I hope they do.
No, you can't get canceled if there's nothing to cancel.
Yeah, exactly.
We're basically the status where people I actually have something for this. I just don't know if I'm going to express it right.
Mhm.
We are at a status where people who cancel celebrities want to put those celebrities in, like we are in the beginning level of things, you know, like we're just getting to know things.
So we've
We're in
got,
that level.
got the beginner's advantage.
Yes, yes. So you can't cancel us because we aren't that high in the ladder yet, is what I'm
Okay.
trying to say.
But
Yeah.
if somewhere down the line, somewhere down the couple of years or something, if we do make it, then people are gonna take this video.
That's just petty. I think that's just petty.
But
People change, you know,
That's
and not
that's
only do
cancel
people
culture.
change, society changes as well.
Yeah, exactly. But like that is the gist of cancel culture, right? People,
Yeah,
when you
like no,
get
let me
relevant.
like no. See, look at this.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of being canceled by saying this. Back, like, take what is happening now in cancel culture and then move it to our time and then our time in the future. Maybe in the far, or maybe near, like to be really dark about it. Maybe in the near future, incest is gonna be a thing. And while now we frown upon it, we might get canceled on about it in the near future. And see, because we're still working on that type of mind frame, that's pretty normal to us that it's not normal, you know. Incest is disgusting.
Shit.
You know what? Maybe in a few years, people will be like, you know what? Love is love. I can love my siblings in a way that I like you. I don't even
Ew,
want to
what the
play
fuck?
that
Like,
sentence.
so like Alabama?
Uh,
No, but that's fucked up. That's fucked up. You heard it here, folks. That's fucked up.
hey, I did promise I'll keep it interesting.
Yeah, no shit. See, it's like I'll give you the biggest example of getting cancelled for weird stuff. The YouTuber Logan Paul, his whole thing with the Japan incident? Did you see that?
No.
So basically, he used to do daily vlogs. He did that for a good year and a half. And in one of those daily vlogs, he he was in Japan and he went to a forest. It's called the Suicide Forest. Apparently, people come
Oh
there.
yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, people come there to kill themselves. And while he was there, someone already had committed suicide, and he filmed the dead body of that person hanging from the tree, and he uploaded it.
Yeah.
This was I want to say 5 years ago. Yeah, this was 5 years ago. Until this date, even if something, I mean, he went on and deleted that video, apologized and all that. He even made efforts. He went off YouTube for a good time. He did some work with suicide prevention, stuff like that. A lot of things he did to basically redeem himself. One could say that he was doing it for the social media, but nevertheless, it was doing good for the society as an individual. And now,
You heard it here, folks. He is a Logan Paul stan.
nevertheless, now
I shit you not. He has a shirt somewhere in. He has a merch somewhere. In his
I have
closet.
never bought Logan Paul merch. Not because
That's very specific.
not
So which merch have you purchased?
I've actually never bought any YouTuber merch. This t-shirt is from Kmart.
Okay.
Take that. That's so see, it's not because I didn't want to. I did want to buy some of his hoodies, which were good. It's just because it's too fucking expensive. Like, why would I pay $100 for a hoodie? And that's in
The
US.
same reason you would pay $60 for a leather jacket in warehouse. For no reason at all. The fuck?
Yeah, you paid that. I didn't pay that. Don't turn it around on me. I'm gonna expose you real bad.
I already exposed myself, so you have nothing on me.
Yeah, so he did that and all, and he redeemed himself and blah blah blah. And now, even now, if you sometimes go through some of his posts, so you know how recently there have been rumors that he's going to fight Mike Tyson, the Mike Tyson. Somewhere on Twitter.
Is there anyone else?
Fuck off. Yeah. And when it was announced on Twitter, it's not a credible source, but it was announced on Twitter. And I was going through the comments, and there were numerous comments, and they were really funny as well. I'm not going to lie. There's one comment that said, bro, when he dies after the fight with Mike Tyson, who's going to film his dead body because he would be dead?
Wow. You know what? I don't care what Netflix has on special or Disney Plus or what. The most entertaining place in social media are the comments.
Comments on any website. I'm going to say the top three: YouTube comments, Twitter comments, and TikTok comments. TikTok being on the top.
Really?
Undisputed. No, trust me. If you have the right For You page, I sometimes like my flatmates probably know this. You'd hear noises from my room at 3 a.m. of me just laughing like crazy. Not because I saw a video.
That is
not
that
creepy.
you could take that statement.
Not in a creepy.
You could take that statement in two ways. You could either be happy that he's laughing at 3 a.m. or be disappointed that the noises that he makes at 3 a.m. isn't anything wink wink, you know? It's just him laughing alone in his bed into, you know what?
See, I'm a sad.
And you think he's getting some action at 3 a.m. Nuh-uh. He's just reading alone under the blanket.
Yeah.
TikTok comments.
Yeah. I get my action before 9 p.m. They have a deadline or something. Anyway, so I'm reading TikTok comments and
take your dress, take your shoes, and get out. I have a schedule to read TikTok comments.
Exactly. I can't imagine you reading TikTok comments at 3 a.m. and then you start laughing, and then she turns around like, the fuck, why aren't you asleep? Like, mind your own fucking business. This is my house.
Also, why are you still here?
No,
take your fucking shoes. Take your fucking bag.
Out of here. I also have trouble sleeping next to someone that I've not known well.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, let me finish. I'm reading TikTok comments because I recently.
That's what he said.
Yeah. And I recently moved to Auckland. So when I moved into this house, this is my landlord. He works at the airport, so he goes to work pretty early, around 4-ish. So at 4 in the morning, he wakes up to leave for work, and he hears a noise from my room, laughing idiotically at TikTok comments, and he knocks on my door and he goes, "Is everything all right?"
If I may just say something, you could have said, "I'm doing you a service. You have 4 a.m. work, right? I'll be your alarm clock. Don't worry. I'll be here every night laughing at 3 a.m. sharp."
3 a.m.
on
sharp.
TikTok.
Start laughing at 3 a.m. sharp. And
Yeah, you don't need an alarm clock.
yeah, and you just, when you hear me laughing like an idiot, just, time to get up, take a shower, get ready for work.
Also, before you get ready for work, can you please remind me to go to sleep?
Yeah, no, because I keep forgetting that.
Mm.
Yeah, it's actually been worse since the lockdown, because before the lockdown, when everything was going good, I had a job and a life, somewhat, yeah. So I would go to bed on time, wake up on time, and go to my job.
Yeah, I actually remember that. Like, it's a mixture of things, and I'm gonna save it till the end of this sentence that I'm saying. But
Mhm.
you were sleeping at 11.
Yeah,
Can you imagine that? Can
yeah,
you imagine that? You actually were telling me like, "Hey, I'm about to go to sleep at 11,
yeah.
10:30." I was
Not
like,
just
damn.
11.
But it's also, like I said, I'm gonna finish this sentence. It's not only the lockdown, it's also PS5. They kind of ruined everything.
True, true. But with that being said, it is mostly the lockdown, because if it was no lockdown, if I had the PS5, I would still go to bed at 11, knowing that I have to wake up at 5 in the morning and be at work at 6. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So sure, it's part of the reason is PS5, because it's made this lockdown very much bearable, much more than it would have been if it wasn't for that beautiful, beautiful thing sitting near my TV. But
Mhm.
yeah, and not just 11. I've gone to sleep at 9, because sometimes I'm starting early at 5 in the morning, because it's a 24-hour hotel. So sometimes there was this one time the night manager had to leave early. So I needed to come in at 5, which meant I needed to wake up at 4, sometimes 3:30.
Mm.
And usually now I go to sleep at that time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Lockdown is ruining lives, people. It's like the Holocaust.
Every time I hear of Holocaust, I think of a joke, very dark joke.
Are you sure you're ready? Are you sure you want to save that on your second podcast episode?
It's actually the first, but yeah, I want to say it.
Okay.
So you know how during the Holocaust, now I don't know if I explain it, it's going to get better or not, but just in case if you don't know, I'll tell you the preface. When during the Nazi concentration camps, every Jew person was started a number on their arm, just to keep track of how many people, and they were known by this number. So I was reading a joke somewhere. This is, I think, stand-up comedian. I heard somewhere. I'm stealing a joke right now. This is not an original. So he goes, I went out to the club and I wanted to get this Jew's number. I walked up to her and I go, "Can I get your number?" And she just put her arm forward.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Canceled.
Terrible. Like the amount.
Because and since that joke, he has not been allowed to make another podcast. Like right off when his podcast is about to take off, it was shot down.
He makes a Jew joke.
Yeah, great. Cause she start off with a Jew joke.
You know what they say? Go big or go home. I guess I'm going home.
What? No, actually, I think that before your podcast hits off the ground, I think you should go all out with all the dark jokes, right? Just go all out before it flies off the ground. Get it out of your system.
In that case, I start scrolling my TikTok for you page, and I can get out all the dark jokes in one episode. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna save them. I'm gonna say one dark joke at the end of every episode, or as we're nearing the end of every episode, which means now seems like a
Okay.
good time to be nearing the end of this particular episode.
Sure.
Yeah, have you got any thoughts before we end it?
No, I don't think so.
Holy shit. I just opened my gallery and I saw the same TikTok, the joke that I just made. I'm gonna send it to you and I'm gonna put it here now. That's it.
I'm waiting for it.
Okay, I just did.
You sent it where?
On Messenger.
Oh. What the heck?
I know.
Ooh, bro.
I know. Well, I guess this is it for now. Thank you so much for joining me. It has been a great pleasure having you. Do you want to say something before we end? Oh,
I am still a stuffed elephant, and I am very, very what's that? I am damn, having English as your second language is very hard as an
Tell
elephant,
me about
you
it.
know? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Grateful.
That's about it.
Is the word that you're looking for is grateful?
Not really. I am very adamant, or whatever synonym word is that. I am very adamant to not show my face.
Yeah.
So if you enjoyed this podcast, mostly because of my commentaries, then leave a like and
Tell us in the
say
comments.
more elephant.
Yeah,
I need
more
to
of
really
the
make a
more of the
character.
stuffed elephant lady.
Elephant lady, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Elephant lady.
Mhm.
Cool. Well, thank you for joining us, guys. Make sure you click the subscribe button, like the podcast, share it on your social media, and I will see you next Thursday for a new episode with another one of these, the podcast.